Anyway.
These are the young conservative brothers who have decided in a bold move to not change any of their set dressing since, since the flags and the hats have become synonymous with losing an election and losing the popular vote twice and being impeached twice and probably being a sexual assailant. Either way, brilliant set dressing. I love Rum 2020.
They are, yeah, they're quite something, aren't they?
Yeah. So this video is Biden signing executive orders, which is putting America last. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
We are the young conservative brothers. And we're breaking the stigma that white people can't talk about race, the system, and the government.
And if you are new here, don't forget to click down, subscribe.
I hate their saying. No one has ever said that white people can't talk about the government. What are they talking about?
White people are the government. What you talk? Yeah. Well, that's nonsense. What they literally just had 4 years of their white man as the president, but white people can't talk about the government. Like, just shut up.
They want to be oppressed very badly.
Subscribe and turn on notifications, get new videos when we upload them. So,
Well,
I gotta say, we're back.
We're back. It's been a week.
We didn't do a video for a little bit. We took like 3 days off before the communist YouTube just shut us down for a week.
It was for the Trump
Communist
videos.
Yeah, Trump videos of Trump, just speaking about we want peace.
Oh my god. Yeah, they were posting... this is interesting.
We are the young conservative.
They were posting on their channel, basically just copyright infringement.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about this, but they stopped doing, like, their commentary videos for a while, and were straight up just posting stuff from, like, Fox News with no commentary, and I'm all for fair use. Obviously, my whole thing, my channel is based on fair use, but it's not fair use just to rip clips from, like, news networks and...
Yeah. Well, exactly. Especially if they're like super capitalist dudes, right?
Yeah.
Like Fox News own that material.
Yep.
You're literally under your paradigm. You're stealing from Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
You're stealing from the mouth, the hungry mouth of Rupert Murdoch. How will he eat? Oh.
Oh, that's a violent act.
Yeah.
And then another one who's talking, you guys are trying to organize violent issues. I don't know what you're talking about. But
So
when
can-
Antifa and BLM
Some
do
people are saying they can't hear. Can you turn the video up slightly?
Yeah.
all their stuff, and when they say they deserve it and burning down buildings, no issue at all.
Oh, wait, but there's still videos of the CCP
Yeah.
for people to know that.
And that's the problem is everything's okay, but when
The
CCP.
the go-to argument I've seen a couple people say about, like, Trump getting banned from Twitter or getting banned from YouTube or anything are like, well, China still has videos up.
Oh, okay.
So that's what they're trying to say.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I didn't hear the same complaints when Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, was kicked off Twitter like 6 months ago.
No.
People were fine with that. Like, I mean, have some standards. Like, I don't mind. I don't care if Nicolas Maduro has a Twitter account either, because it's Twitter. But these people are obsessed. I mean, it's all Trump nonsense, isn't it? It's the same with the election. The only result they would have ever accepted is Trump winning. They didn't want to just count the legal votes.
Yeah.
conservatives get cut off for a week. And we're going to keep on coming, YouTube. At the end of the day, we're going to keep on telling the truth.
Lol.
And this flag is staying up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rum 2020.
Commit to the losing aesthetic. I appreciate it.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I made the analogy off air about it's like a bride that gets stood up at a wedding and a week later she's still in the dress.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad. Please stop.
And the thing is, that's what YouTube and all the far left communists want. They want us to be silenced down.
YouTube
and
is
just
far
give-
left communist.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Don't you
It's
know-
absolutely true.
Are you telling me that a multi-billion-dollar company, Google, is not communist? They're clearly Marxist because they banned Trump from YouTube or something. I don't know.
They've banned the surf twice.
give up because you get banned for a week. No, I'm going to keep on telling the truth at the end of the day. And people need to hear it and go revolt against you guys.
Yep, so here we have some new truth coming out, pretty much of the 17 horrible executive orders that Joe Biden has put forward.
In the first day, There has been more, but in the first day,
Horrible.
this was the big one. So the first one I'm going to get into, it's kind of ironic. You'll understand when I'm reading it. Executive order on mask wearing on federal property.
Oh no, they're going to require people on federal property to wear masks, which frankly they should have already.
Yeah, it's one of the things you could have been done, because this is one of the strengths of America is the federal system, I understand, but one of its weaknesses can be the federal system. That the federal government couldn't just tackle this on their own. But one thing they could do is say, on federal property, you wear a mask.
I think they also have purview over stuff that's considered interstate commerce, which the Supreme Court has ruled is like pretty broad. So like, I think airplane travel, even commercial airplane travel, is considered interstate commerce stuff because, of course, you're flying from place to place. So I think the executive order also, even though all the airlines have already basically said you need to wear a mask, they just codified that through the executive order. And some other stuff. But yeah, it's mostly like government buildings, which is good. You should be wearing a mask everywhere anyway. The United States does not have this under control at all. It's ridiculous.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, neither does Britain. It's almost like electing right-wing demagogue idiot pseudo-populists who don't actually know how to govern is bad.
Have you considered, though, that they're openly racist, and that makes racist people feel better about being shitheads?
Unfortunately, I've been forced to accept that. Yes, that is the reality of the world in which we live, yes.
Okay, we knew he was going to do really strict with the mask, and it says federal right now, but you know it'll keep on going into the normal people's lives. So
the president doesn't have the power to do an executive order to force everyone to wear a mask on like private property. Arguably, I kind of wish he did at this point, just because of that. But I understand that that would be a far-reaching thing, and it would imply other powers that I don't think the president should have unilaterally. Yeah. But you should be wearing a mask regardless, because you should have some sort of social responsibility to do things to help other people in society as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel... Like, I mean, I wear a mask. It doesn't really protect me. It protects other people. That's my way of... Like, if I didn't wear a mask, I'd feel like I'm just basically saying to everyone around me, I don't care if you die.
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy for you to die just so I don't have to wear a mask. Which is an abhorrent thing to say or to think. You know?
It's completely selfish and self-interested. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
On federal property. Okay, you know, senators, everything else got to wear on federal property. But this is where the ironic thing comes in.
Oh, wait, who isn't wearing it?
Oh, no, let's just show the video clip real quick.
Oh, yeah, they did this, too. Joe Biden, who was around, no one isn't wearing a mask at, like, the Lincoln Memorial for a photo shoot, and they think this is hypocritical, even though it's not. No,
you say that, but Abraham Lincoln's an old man. It could give Abraham Lincoln, the greatest president of America... The Rona, and frankly, he'd have been he would be the new John Wilkes Booth. Let's be honest, that's what he's trying to do there.
Honestly, Lincoln's so big. Is that virus even compatible with his giant immune system?
See, this is my mind all over. When you said he's so giant, instantly I was thinking, I wonder how big his cock and balls are. Scale to the size of the thing. Like, I mean, I presume they didn't chisel it underneath the trousers or anything, but he's probably well hung.
I don't know. You'd probably have to go sit on his lap.
I think they might shoot me if I tried.
Probably.
Yeah.
Not worth.
I love that their gotcha is literally just a silent video of an old man standing still.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, there's no one around him. Look, the next person's like...
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night if he signed an executive order that mandates masks on federal lands at all times?
At the inaugural...
At the Lincoln Memorial, yes.
I think, Steve, he was celebrating an evening of a historic day in our country, and certainly he signed the mask mandate because it's a way to send a message to the American public about the importance of wearing masks.
Damn, doesn't he look familiar? I
Yeah,
think that's the president of the United States.
Yeah. Well, first he's at the Lincoln
Is it?
Monument.
I thought he'd stolen it and he was illegitimate and he
Hold
wasn't
on.
the president.
I'll double check. President of the United States. Yep. There he is.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. I've been misinformed then.
Yeah.
I've been watching too much Clapper, clearly.
Not wearing a mask. And then he's questioned by Fox News' Peter Dowsey to the Hammer and Sickle press secretary that
Yeah.
we have now.
That's why.
This came because she was wearing. Did you see the hat? I actually
Yeah.
kind of want this hat. It's funny.
Yeah,
I'm not a tanky, but I liked this hat.
Yeah. Well, in fact, it's a pink Ushanka or whatever with the hammer and sickle on it. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't she in Russia?
I honestly have no idea what the context of the picture was. Press
I
secretary.
think she-
Oh, I accidentally typed hot. Whoops.
Accidentally typed it. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's been hang on. Yeah, because that's your man on the left is Sergei Lavrov,
Okay.
the Russian foreign secretary or whatever.
Sure.
So look, she's in Russia, and that's like the tourist group, like in America where I don't know, in New York, it's some idiot walking around with "I love NYC" t-shirt,
Yeah.
and it's like a Slovakian tourist or something. That's the American equivalent of that.
Someone buy me that hat and send it to me, please.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I'll be honest, I'd have that. That's cool.
That's why we call it the hammer and sickle.
Because we remember when she had the one video of her in Russia and they gave her a hat with a hammer and sickle and she wore it around proudly.
Yeah, like a communist, just
Yeah.
like she is. And
No, well,
she's
presumably she was on some official business because, like I say, that was the Russian foreign secretary stood next to her. So presumably she
Yeah.
was on some American business. They give you a hat, you just wear the fucking hat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they always do this, don't they? When they have like a G8 meeting and they have all the leaders dressed up like the locals or something, and they look like absolute idiots, but you do it.
Yeah.
It's always like there's, Bill Clinton in a Ushanka or, Barack Obama wearing a cork hat in Australia or some nonsense. Just absolute gibberish. But it's PR. That's what they do.
really a sin.
And
That's
then,
one
and
thing.
all she did was pretty much deflect the whole question.
Yep.
She was just trying to push away from the
Oh.
question about not wearing it after the
the-
inaugurational party.
And the thing is, he was just
Yeah,
celebrating.
she's press
everything.
secretary.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. Like that, you expect that from a press secretary. The problem with McEnany and Huckabee Sanders and Sean Spicer is that they were just liars.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to spin something positively or trying to play the press of their own game. They were just going, "No, biggest crowd ever, fake news," and that's it. It just those people are despicable.
Thing. Oh, so anyone can just break anything that they stand for because they're celebrating.
When you're celebrating, the coronavirus doesn't go after you.
Yep. Oh.
You can't get sick from the Chinese
God,
virus.
I know. But
Here's my opinion on this. I think for optics reasons, he should have been wearing a mask, but practically speaking, he was standing around literally no one. And obviously, the point of it is that usually if you're at the Lincoln Memorial or wherever, anywhere on public property, you're going to be around other people. So,
Yeah.
consequentialist, in a consequentialist way, it makes sense. But I agree, optically speaking, because right-wing people are going to look at this and be like, he's a hypocrite. He should have done it. At least for that
Yeah,
reason.
exactly. Well,
No, no.
well, and the slightly greater reason of the president should set an example type thing.
I'd agree.
That's no. But no one, and that's the thing. It's the dishonesty again of the right wing grift machine.
Yeah.
They don't care that he wasn't wearing a mask. They don't actually think it was hypocritical or anything like that. They just think this is a gotcha.
another thing interested, since we're on the Chinese virus, Mayor Lightfoot.
Oh, the Chinese virus, how very
Chicago,
original.
Illinois. You got New York, Cuomo. Now DC, the mayor. Guess what they're doing now? Since 2 days from now.
Lay it on me.
They're reopening everything.
Oh.
They're reopening the restaurants, people going back in. Oh, we all knew this was gonna come.
They had these lockdowns up until a very specific date, and then they chose not to extend it. I don't even necessarily agree with that, considering numbers are starting to go down in terms of cases, and I think they should continue that. But, people are going to do what they're going to do.
It's so annoying because it's a pretty well trodden path now. All of the countries that have done well with this, you pay people a basic income to stay at home for 3-4 months.
Yep.
It's not nice, it's not pleasant, no one enjoys it, but it's better than everyone dying. and then you can reopen. China, they've got like concerts and stuff. New Zealand's basically open now. Vietnam's basically open now. They dealt with it the way you should deal with it, rather than doing a half-assed kind of shut down for a bit where everyone's in poverty and then force them back into work and keep the schools open when children are literally petri dishes of disease anyway without a bleeding pandemic. Like these people, it's so obvious what you need to do, and yet they refuse to.
Yep, it's frustrating.
That they're just shutting everything down to make the economy as worse as possible to make Trump look bad. It was all a political game. They use American people of their states.
Again, I
and
don't want to
city-
just keep pausing every 5 seconds, but it's such an annoying thing. They assume that everyone is as obsessed with Trump as they are.
Yeah, it's strange. I've noticed this from other Trump people too in the last month and a half, where they're like, everyone loves Trump. How did Joe Biden get so many votes? And it's like they don't understand that, sure, there are a lot of diehard Trump supporters, but there are more people who hate Donald Trump. He's an absolute dick.
Yeah, but they weren't closing it down to make Trump look bad. They were closing it down for a number of reasons, and they're opening it up for a number of reasons. People aren't as anti-Trump as you are pro-Trump, if that makes sense. Like these people are obsessed. The mayor of DC has their own political reasons for doing what they do, which extend beyond just F Trump.
I've seen right-wingers claim that left-wingers who don't like Trump have Trump derangement syndrome. I would argue that what these people are doing could be better defined as Trump derangement syndrome. Putting a flag on a wall and wearing a hat and putting a sticker on your laptop and having a whole set dressing of Trump months after he lost the election.
Exactly, and exactly, it's pathetic. And even after he's not even in office anymore, it's embarrassing, guys.
No.
But is there a politician that you've ever known or know of that you would do this kind of sycophancy for?
No, even people I really like Bernie Sanders. I've never owned a
Yeah.
piece of Bernie Sanders merchandise because I don't feel I mean, I'm sure there's an element of emotionality to it because we're human beings and human beings are affected by their emotions, but like I like Bernie Sanders because of his policies, right? It went like someday, not too far in the future because he's quite old, Bernie Sanders will die and I'll be like, that's a shame. I hope someone else comes along with the same sort of belief system and continues to push forward for those things. It's not like a cult of personality like Trump is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like at most, I might wear like a Bernie piece of. I mean, I don't actually own anything, but I might wear one in a kind of jokey way because it's the meme, isn't it? It's like, Bernie can still win. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Right. It's a bit of fun, and also it does sort of signal a certain political allegiance or whatever. But I would never do this. I mean, they own multiple hats and a rum flag, so that's and the sticker on the laptop even. Look, it's just dial it back, guys. This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
As a political game just to make the President Trump look bad. Now,
The president.
fraudulent.
Trump.
You know what makes President Trump look bad? The 417,000 dead people. That makes him look pretty bad.
Well, I was just going to say President Trump makes President Trump look bad.
True.
President Joe Biden is in, and now they're going to open everything. Oh, look at what the economy is doing and all this and all this.
Look how great it's going to be. See, you just see that how they're just using you again, just like what the Democrats do. Grant, you can't say that people voted for him because since it was a fraudulent election.
Nope.
But going on, they're just playing with you. Look at the economy is going to get better. We're going to open it up.
It's gonna be
because
like
these
this for
huge
years,
Democrat
isn't it?
cities are going to start having money flowing through them.
This is going to be their new playbook. Every election Republicans lose is all of a sudden going to be illegitimate. Every election they win, mind you, is fine. Just the ones they lose are all illegitimate.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the QAnon person, she issued put forward papers of impeachment against Biden.
Yes.
And someone asked about the fraudulent election stuff in this interview I saw her doing about this. And firstly, that's not going to go anywhere. It's embarrassing, virtue signaling nonsense. But someone asked her, well, how can you say his election was fraudulent when you won your election on the exact same ballot papers? Like, you shouldn't be here either then. And she went, no, my votes were all right.
That's not how it works. I hate
Yeah.
these people. I hate them so much.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And they're pretty much shutting it down to make Trump look horrible.
Yep.
Everything that he's done was bad, which in the end game, Trump still made the whole entire economy rise up
yeah,
as these major cities are holding it down.
Remember the GOP hit the highest point in like July. What was it, like August? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
can't quote me, but it was around that time, August, October. What was it, 33% it went up?
Mm-hmm.
The most ever in history, doubled actually what it was in history.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? And the Dow market economy, jobs coming back, everything.
How'd that go after COVID hit and it was completely mishandled?
Wow, you guys were doing everything against it.
Exactly. That's the thing. What makes anyone look good? Like Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, for instance, a fine example, won her re-election.
Yeah.
On the back of COVID.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have to be bad, because the whole point is a competent government did the right thing in a difficult circumstance, and the people went, oh, thanks for that, you can have another term.
Yeah.
And Trump could have done the exact same thing.
That's what's so funny about this, because if Trump had literally just said, like back in March, even earlier, because they knew this was coming prior to March, right? It had already hit other places. All he would have had to have said is, here are a bunch of experts, medical experts, do what they say, and stand back and let them do things appropriately, tell people to wear masks, have actual lockdowns, deal with this, and he would have won. I generally believe he probably would have won re-election had he not completely fumbled this. It's wild. He was like given a free shot, like a free throw, and he just completely whiffs it. It was so strange.
To make the economy and people not go back to work, and you did it and try to do it at all times.
Yeah.
So let's get into another thing.
Well,
You want to say something?
Well,
with
wait, this is pretty much how we're going to say with them all reopening the big cities, how the Democrat mayors and all of them doing. This is going to combat the economy growth and completely destroy it.
And
so his another executive order was joining the horrible Paris Climate Accords.
So
Oh no.
Oh, no.
We might try and help combat climate change in the most middling milquetoast way possible.
But you know what's really good for the economy is if humanity becomes unsustainable on a planet that's burning.
That's generally good.
That would be super awesome for the economy.
In fairness, do we know about the economy in the Mad Max universe? If you just have a source of water, you can basically be a god king. Maybe that's the strategy. Maybe Trump just has a whole big, like, water reserve somewhere. And he's planning on being like a Morton Joe in Fury Road. Have you seen that movie?
Well, no, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And well, presumably his water supply, he's collected all of his tears over the last week.
It's an infinite resource.
let's go tell all these other countries to get emissions and get clean air while we pay millions and billions of dollars to them, and they don't listen to a damn thing we say.
Why?
And we're just gonna...
Their understanding of what the the Paris Accord is ridiculous. I mean, it's almost as bad as these idiots. I saw the talking point. I represent the people of insert place in America that begins with P in your state, not the people of Paris.
Yeah.
Do they honestly think it only applies to the city of Paris?
Ted Cruz said that shit.
Bobbitt said that as well, and I was like, it's not a deal with Paris. It's just a deal that was signed in Paris.
As we all know, the Geneva Conventions are very, very particular to what the people of Geneva wanted, okay? We know how this works.
Exactly. That's why you don't get any war crimes in small parts of Switzerland. It's true.
Waste a bunch of money and use the tax dollars, American tax dollars, to pay for it.
And send it to other countries. And while this is going to raise your taxes...
Oh, bad.
Which we've been saying the whole entire time.
I believe Trump, the reason why he hit this so hard, because this was the biggest issue with raising taxes.
Get fucked. Do you know how much of our money goes to the military? Being part of the Paris climate agreements is going to affect your taxes negligibly, if at all. My goodness.
Well, and, I mean, look, he might renege on the promise, but he didn't. Biden's whole thing was everyone over 400K will get a tax increase. He put that on the table.
Yeah,
well,
he said
that's the thing.
Over 400,000 a year, your taxes will increase. Anyone below that, they're not going to change.
Yeah. So if he sticks to that, I don't know that anyone can really complain. 400 grand, you're doing okay.
Yeah. Anyone who complains about that, shut up. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You are doing better than the vast majority of not only people in America, but the world, okay? Chill the fuck out.
You are in the richest 0.01% of humans ever. You're okay.
Yeah.
And look what happened. Oh, first day, pop, we'll raise your taxes.
And then we know
It's not raising your taxes. They're already what they are. If there is any effect on your taxes of the Paris Climate Agreement, we were already a part of it. Your taxes aren't going up.
how the Keystone pipe is going to be shut down. So,
Yep.
oh wait, Joe Biden lied on something again.
Oh yeah, Keystone Pipeline. You know, the fracking. Oh, we're not getting rid of any oil and fracking.
That's
Wait,
not
First he
fracking.
was
No, that's moving
not-
oil from place to place.
It's an oil pipe, but fracking is gas.
They're
Oh, for
they're
sake.
also they're going to be talking about probably job losses, which is funny because conservatives will put all sorts of numbers out there for like the number of workers who are working on the pipeline. Those are contractors. It was never a permanent position. They were going to move on to a different job elsewhere when that was done anyway. They lost one particular job for contract. They did not lose their jobs with whatever company they work for that was contracted to build the pipeline. They're fine.
But Canada are quite annoyed by it because didn't the government of Alberta like invest $1.5 billion into it or something?
Oh, they may
Well,
have.
Well, that's tough. You can't just say, "Well, we spent money on this thing." Like the pipeline goes through someone else's country,
Yeah,
which is stolen from someone else in the first place. But let's not even go into that. Jesus.
sure.
for getting rid of it,
Yes.
then not getting rid of it,
Remember?
then now his actions speak more than his words, and he got rid of it.
And he's getting rid of the Keystone Pipeline. Oil, there's so many union jobs. Jobs, at the end of the day, with this whole entire thing, is
All
just
they care
gonna
about union jobs. Yeah.
disappear.
big
Thousands.
fans of unions now. Yeah.
You can tell because Rum 2020 is very pro-union.
Economy is just gonna
Thousands.
go. Gas. Be ready when he goes in the Iran deal. That's gonna be real soon when we get all of our oil from them, and they can raise prices just back in the Obama days where it's $4 a gallon. You know what's gonna happen? It will get to probably 5 or 6 more than
Oh,
Obama
I'm
days.
told apparently Alberta invested $7 billion. Fucking hell.
I shouldn't have
Well,
done
that's-
that.
Yeah, that was dumb. Don't do that.
Because he's gonna try to put all these environmental stuff, get rid of
There's
all
nothing funny about
oil,
the tools of
and
capitalism.
the price has got to get up because it's gonna be more rare to get it.
Right here's pandering to the one.
Why do they have an emotional attachment to oil? Oil
don't
is like something that's needed for consumer products and right now for fuel and like energy, but we're trying to move off of that because it's unsustainable. It's not a renewable source of energy. You literally have to deal with moving off of it at some point.
Yeah. Well, but this is the same thing with the copium. I kept telling them, ease yourself off, because come January, it's going to run out because Biden's going to be president. And they refused. And now they're going cold turkey, and it's bad.
Yep.
1% of the environmentalists
Yep.
that are pretty much run down his throat, while he's completely throwing under the bus all of these oil manufacturers, all these jobs that are in Texas, in
Oh no,
Pennsylvania,
the oil companies! Won't someone think of the oil company?
Hey, I care very much about Exxon's investors, okay? Isn't that what we should be thinking of? Who cares if we end up destroying the environment we live in and end up dying as a species as long as some investors made extra money without having to pay reasonable capital gains taxes for a short period of time?
Exactly. Well, if anything the world needs is to get the boot of big government off BP's neck.
Ohio, all in
Outrageous.
Michigan, all through Wyoming. This is going to be taken down.
Oh, just destroying them. Jobs, just
Putting
going. Taxes for the normal people. And
Unemployment's
Oh,
going
these
to
two are such
skyrocket.
And let me
stupid
get-
bastards. Sorry. I listen to them talking. You no wonder they're Trump fans. I can barely string a sentence together, the pair of them.
Yeah, these
Good
guys are
God.
frustrating because they're so inarticulate with what they're saying and they don't really have a pace to like
Yeah.
their conversation. I don't know.
And there's no chemistry.
No.
Like, are they actually brothers? Do we know? They look alike, but
I think they are.
Well, to be honest, all you white people look the same to me. I don't know, but that's a joke. I'm also a hunky. Anyway, yeah, they don't seem to click at all. They can't time each other's speech. Like you think they'd be able to have a rapport, and yet they're awful. This is sad. This is really sad watching them try and bumble their way through a really. Look, the simple argument would be jobs and prosperity and blah blah blah, and they can't even get through that. Look, I could make their argument better than they can.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Get into another thing. Remember with the whole entire 1,400 he's trying to do with the stimulus checks to make it 2,000 because the 600 went before. Guess one thing that's under it too. $15 minimum wage federal.
Yeah.
So
Oh no, people getting paid more reasonably for their work? What would anyone think about Jeff Bezos?
But what about if I have to pay 5 extra pence on a beef burger? It's outrageous. The fact that Denmark has a $22 minimum wage and the cheeseburger in McDonald's costs 30 cents extra.
Hey, do you know how much that'll add up for me? I eat 17 Big Macs a week, okay? My arteries are screaming.
All I'm going to say is, Hannah just said 17. Q confirmed.
Shh, don't give away all my secret messages.
every single place has to go $15 an hour. So what does that go to? Job loss, crazy.
Small business is gonna be killed.
Oh,
If your business cannot afford to pay your workers reasonably, then you have an unsustainable business. Period.
Exactly, yeah. If you can't afford to pay your employees a livable wage, then you're bad at business and you need to stop.
Like, imagine if I owned, I don't know, a comic book shop, okay? And, let's even take it out of the realm of labor and just say, because labor is just another expense for your business, okay? Let's say that a distributor, like DC or Marvel, comes to me. I know they don't do direct business like this. I know they do third parties, but for simplicity, let's say Marvel comes to me and says, okay, we need to stock your comic book shop. Our monthly rate for all these different books that you want to put on your shelves are this. You owe us, I don't know, $10,000 this month for all the stock that we're going to be putting into your store. And I go, but wait a minute, I can't afford to buy all those comics to sell to the consumer. I can't run a business while affording this. Okay, then you have an unsustainable business. Then you don't have the money to start your business if you can't afford the expenses involved in running said business.
Exactly, yeah. And not just that, but these are the same people who will argue against government entitlements, government subsidizing things, blah, blah, blah. But yet, if your workers are so poor that they're working a full-time job and need benefits from the system or food, SNAP entitlements and stuff like that, food, what do they call them? Food cards or whatever.
I know here they're called bridge cards.
Yeah.
But like food stamps type stuff.
Food stamps is the word I'm looking for, yes. We don't actually have that kind of system because we have at least vaguely functioning social security net. But anyway, so if you get food stamps or something like that, then basically the government are subsidizing McDonald's.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
It's ridiculous. Well, whilst they're making billions and billions of dollars in profit.
Same thing happens to Walmart. The Walton family is like one of the richest families in the world, and yet the government is basically subsidizing the wages of Walmart workers because they're the biggest, like the workforce that works at Walmart are the biggest recipients of a single employer of like food stamps and government assistance of anyone. So the government is basically subsidizing Walmart's business model.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I forget the exact number, but it was something like 70% of welfare recipients in America have a full-time job.
Yeah. Yep.
Ridiculous. So it's not the lazy entitled, it's the capitalists screwing over everyone, including those who are well paid, because it's their tax money that goes to subsidizing the profits of Walmart and McDonald's and so on and so on.
Yep.
they're done. So, and also only 1% of the some $1 trillion for the stimulus only is going to small businesses. And the thing, everything's going to lose. Job loss. You think they're paying a waiter, a waitress, $15 an hour? You know what they're going to use? You know those places, I think, what is that one place? Chili's, I think it is.
Yeah.
You can go and fill out a tablet of your order, and then a person will come.
Okay, that already exists under the current wage. This is the weird thing. I've seen pictures and memes from right-wingers who show those kiosks that they have at fast food restaurants now, or instead of going up to someone and ordering, you can like order your own food via touchscreen or whatever. And they're like, this is what a $15 minimum wage looks like. And it's like, Well, we don't have a $15 minimum wage right now, so where did you get that picture? It's almost like that exists currently. It's always going to be cheaper to automate things. Period. It will always be cheaper to automate. So businesses will always strive for that for a variety of reasons. It doesn't mean you shouldn't strive for livable wages for people who do work.
Yeah. And actually, this is the ultimate sadness of, again, the capitalist system doing its not immoral, but amoral thing.
Yeah.
Of automation should be one of the great liberations of all mankind. We could reduce our work days down to 2 days a week, whatever. Like with the automation, it could free up humanity to engage in all manner of different cultural pursuits. We could actually enjoy our lives rather than having to slave for 50 hours a week or whatever. But instead, what we've turned it into is you're still going to work 50 hours a week, but you're not going to earn anything because we have to make it financially worthwhile not to replace you with a robot.
Yep.
Well, just replace them with a robot and give them a UBI.
Yep.
That's fine. That would be a wonderful thing. It wouldn't be perfect. It's not the ideal solution, but it's a thing that could work.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
Usually a chef or a manager of the store, and then you'll just pay from there. That's what's going to happen, because they're not paying anyone $15.
Isn't it $15 an hour for federal workers and federal contractors? The executive order, I believe, is, but they're working on doing it as a general bill to up the minimum wage everywhere federally.
Dollars an hour.
Yeah.
It'd be massive layoffs. And then for anyone that says, well, I have other alternatives that pretty much say that $15 hours work.
He says alternatives weird. Alternatives?
Well, he did this before. I wasn't going to pick him up on it, but he said he was going to say pandering, but he said pandaling, and I thought of a baby panda.
Maybe
But I
that's
don't think that's what he meant. Yeah, maybe he did mean a baby panda, in which case pandaling is an awesome name for a baby panda.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. Yeah.
One thing that completely destroys it all is inflation.
There we go.
I don't care if you make $100,000 or even more. This is going to affect you.
Yes.
The
There's nothing funny
price
about
of
the
property is
tools
going
of
to go up because
capitalism.
less people have money going
Milk.
around.
Just think about simple stuff. Milk probably go $5 a gallon, and bread's going to go probably $3 or $4.
They do this every time. Every time. Look, we
There's nothing
little
funny
known
about
fact,
the tools of
we
capitalism.
didn't actually have a minimum wage in Britain until about 99 or something like that.
Okay.
So I remember it being introduced. And I remember people saying it was going to be devastation, the prices were going to rocket through the roof,
There's nothing funny
unemployment
about
was
the
going to
tools
go
of
crazy, and it
capitalism.
didn't. They do this every single time. Because the thing is, all it does is it will cut slightly, ever so slightly, into the massive ballooning profits of these corporations. That's
Yep.
all.
It's annoying, too, because it completely disregards the fact that prices rise whether you do a wage increase or not. It's how inflation works.
Yeah, exactly. A company has a choice. When it's faced with an increase in overheads, whether that be via inflation, they have to buy in the meat or whatever, they have to produce the thing that they're going to sell, or a wage increase because of either union negotiation or, in this case, because of federal mandate or something like that, they have a choice. You either pass the cost on to your customer in increased money, which will reduce your business, or you just take a bit of a hit, or you cut 50-50, something like that, right? And they will just adjust as necessary, and those that don't die.
Yep.
That's a shame, but that's capitalism. That's the way it goes. Tough. Like you can't have capitalism red in tooth and claw for everyone else, but you need special federal protections for Jeff Bezos.
In fairness, who's more downtrodden than our Lord and Savior Bezos, okay?
Well, clearly, the person to whom I think you owe your soul, that being, of course, the great and all-powerful Elon Musk.
Oh, God. Let's not talk about Elon. Jeez.
I was genuinely, I was considering, just for a sarcastic moment, introducing you as Elon Musk's super fan, Hannah Reloaded.
God, I hate Elon so much, and now he's like the richest man in the world, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Just go to Mars, Elon. Go to Mars and become what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Slave driver?
Sure. Start a company town on Mars. Make all the employees your serfs. I don't care. Just get out of my face.
You've already sent a car into space, so presumably that'll land on Mars nice and safe. That'll be fine.
Eggs probably go 4 or 5. You get to all those things; those are all going $2 or $3 up. And one thing I gotta say, right now with this presidency, he's making America into California. How
California has the best economy in the United States. So good?
This is the thing that so annoys me. No, I'm going to pick out a couple of states just at random. Let's say Mississippi and Arkansas. What do they financially provide to the United States, really?
Many
Not a
red
lot.
states, the states that actually pull the most from the federal budget are the red states. Blue states
Yeah.
like California pay more into the federal budget than they do take out.
Exactly, yeah. Those states that send the most budget hawkish when it suits them people to Congress are exactly the kind of places that don't produce anything. The only places that really produce anything in America in terms of actually really sustaining the economy are California, New York, maybe a bit of Chicago. There's some big, I mean, Detroit isn't really a place anymore, but you know what I mean? Like, there are places like that.
One of the only big like economic powerhouse red states right now is Texas, and that's because there are blue cities in Texas where there's sort of a tech boom going on. Outside of that, the rural areas aren't doing well. They're basically being sustained by the larger city areas.
Exactly, yeah. And I was about to say Texas is like, it's only because of the blue areas, and it's becoming more blue because those Californian tech people are now moving to Texas. So we probably will see it turn blue or it certainly will be purplish in the not too distant future.
I think they said sometime between now and 2030, it's reasonable that it'll go blue at least once. I don't know if it's probably an estimate. I'd be shocked if in the next 15 years or so, 16 years, it doesn't, but who knows?
Yeah. Oh, Phoenix in my chat. Yeah, Washington State as well. Yes, there are basically the coastal elite places are the only thing that creates any damn money.
That's what he's trying to change America too.
Well, I mean, that was their pretty much guinea pig of what socialism is, and now we're going to be seen throughout the whole entire country.
And you see California, homelessness all over. You see syringes when you walk by. And
homelessness is so bad in California for a variety of reasons. One of them is because other states, and I'm not making this up, literally would, as a way of reducing homelessness in their state, would buy one-way bus tickets and send a bunch of homeless people on a bus together to California. And secondly, home prices in California are ridiculously high because they haven't been able to keep up home production, home building with the demand, because demand is so high because California's economy is so good. So many people want to live there.
Yeah. Also, how are there homeless people when capitalism is so awesome?
But don't you know California's communist?
Oh, so California. Sorry, yeah, my bad.
And you just see illegal aliens, murders, drug, gangs, all this stuff that is un-American is all in California.
Yeah.
Hang on, un-American. I thought California was in America. How can it be un-American?
Also, apparently all murders happen in California. I didn't know that. I guess I should never go to California. I can't be murdered here in Michigan. That's good.
Good.
So we know how this Paris Climate Accord is going to destroy, and that's why Trump was really adamant about us getting it out. But no, enough of this, because we could spend another 15 minutes.
One more thing about it is about the Keystone. What I got to say is Canada. We have an agreement with them that we just couldn't cut off their pipelines.
It was
with Trump.
the Mexico, United States, and Canada agreement that Trump did.
And the thing is guess what happened?
So
Biden
hang on,
just got rid of it.
Whoa. Was Trump doing a Canada first policy then? That seems very strange.
And Canada, because they had fear of it before before January 20th that he was going to do it, and he was like, Biden, at least sit down and talk to us first. Oh, boom, put it right away. And now Canada is suing Joe Biden.
Yep.
So we already have Canada is hating us right now.
Not hating you. What they make out like suing someone really means it. They've caught the Giuliani disease, the Sidney Powell disease. Suing someone doesn't really mean a great deal. It can be done for a number of different reasons. It's often vexatious. In the case of Canada, they may have a point. They may already have a contract with the federal government, something.
Sure.
But you can't force them to build the pipeline. It'll just be like a fine. And who cares? Like, the American government are so in debt that money doesn't really mean anything anymore.
I like the idea that they think that other countries were really, really happy with America as it stood under Donald Trump, and that the world wasn't mostly embarrassed by what was going on here. But whatever.
Oh yeah, no, it's not as if when he came to London, there was an enormous anti-Trump rally and a very small pro-Trump rally.
Well, but that's
No, everyone loved him. That's why the baby blimp, the Trump baby blimp, that didn't happen. That wasn't a thing. It's actually been bought now by the is it the London Museum or the British Museum?
It's some museum of like I thought it was like a museum of protests or something. It was like a museum that was quite specific.
Well, maybe it's a subset of that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's a satellite museum or something. But yeah, they bought the thing and that's fair. Look, it's a cultural thing. It
Sure.
was
just one of the other 100-something
one of the
countries. So we all know how the border wall is such a beautiful sight. This wall.
Yep, 450.
Have you guys seen the wall? First of all,
Yeah.
they only built 14 miles. Let's see. How long is the U.S. border with Mexico?
About 2,000 miles ish.
1,954 miles, and they built 14 miles of fence.
Yeah.
Trump.
So nothing.
Let's take a look at what the wall even looks like, because it's apparently so beautiful. This is what it
hideous.
looks like.
It's fucking hideous. Although I like the fact that the design award went to the people who put seesaws between the two, so Mexican and American kids could play together. Well, that was quite nice.
Oh god. It's the ugliest thing. And it's not even going to be effective for those 14 miles. It's so stupid.
Yeah. It's all you do is you've just created a market for slightly taller ladders. That's all that does.
I just can't believe they wasted billions of dollars on this.
Yeah, did you see part of it blew over in a windstorm as well?
I
Back in
did.
November or something? Yeah. It's rubbish. And not just that, but it wouldn't be cost effective to tear it down yet. But as soon as they need to do maintenance on it, why pay? Just tear it down. And they will. Obviously. Even the Republicans didn't want to fund it because they know it's stupid.
Yep.
It doesn't do anything.
It's ridiculous.
Anyway. But yeah, I mean, and not just that, but he said a wall. That isn't a wall. That's a fence.
Yeah.
miles.
It is pretty much doing its job, holding out the illegal immigrants that want to just run right into our country and not do it the right way.
It doesn't stop immigrants.
No, most illegal immigrants don't cross the border. They come in airplanes and then overstay their visas.
Exactly. The wall worked in medieval times.
Sure.
But now, aeroplanes exist and shipping lanes and cars and stuff. You can't. Jesus Christ! It's not going to stop. And not just that, but even the bits of fence, they're going to be. It'll stop drugs. No, it won't. Tunnels and drones exist. You can transport drugs. Now, the reason that the drug problem is such a problem is because Americans love drugs.
Yeah.
If they stop taking drugs and stop doing the weird war on drugs, which doesn't stop drugs as well, the drug problem would be a lot easier to deal with.
All the war on drugs did was make drugs more expensive and profitable to get into for people like the cartel.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, if you took a sensible approach to liberalization of drug laws, you'd be able to get a handle on the problem, and you'd stop essentially shitting all over the people of northern Mexico.
Yeah. Weed got legalized recreationally here in Michigan, which is nice. I hope they do so federally soon, so it's just easier for, whatever. Of course, there are other drugs, too, that I think should be treated as health issues, not criminal ones. But.
Well, that's ultimately the problem. So many people who are in prison are mental health patients who should be in hospital.
Yeah.
Whether it be drugs or a number of other things, often a lot of violence isn't because these people are inherently violent. They're mentally unwell. They didn't take their meds that day, whatever. And thankfully in Britain, because our police don't have guns, they don't just shoot them in the street like animals. Yeah. It's anyway, but yeah.
I always notice when I do my sovereign citizen stuff, I'll do sovereign citizens both from America and from the UK. And it's always blowing my mind when I see the interactions between UK cops versus American cops. It is night and day. It is so crazy.
Yeah, you can't there's. It's not just the fact that obviously American police shoot and kill. It creates a barrier. There's a fear.
the whole attitude is different too. Like I've seen UK cops, they'll be frustrated, but they'll like be having a conversation with the person. They'll certainly insist that like I'm the cop here and I'm right and I will arrest you if you don't like comply with the law. But the American cops are just like so in your face and so like, I'm escalating this situation, comply now or I will tackle you. It is so strange, the difference.
Oh, yeah, they do genuinely see themselves as sort of almost like a military presence.
Yeah.
Which is really, that's not great. Like, the British police, don't get a rose-tinted idea. The British police are shit too. But they can't just, like, randomly shoot you because they feared for their lives. No. At worst, they can probably beat you up. But that's about it. And it's not great, and they do it, and it's disgusting, and policing in general needs to be reformed. But, yeah, there's that intimidation factor between the citizen and the police officer doesn't exist. So a lot of the times, even though they're pricks, you can talk to them in a way that you just can't in America, it seems. Like, I mean, obviously I'm not from there, but virtually even conservatives say, yeah, the police, maybe they're a little heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Really, you think?
I'm a white person, and if I get pulled over by the police, I've only ever been pulled over once, but I get really nervous. I don't want to deal with someone who can kill me with impunity, even if it's not necessarily the likeliest thing in the world that they're going to, because, again, I'm a white person, but, like...
Yeah.
Just...
Oh, no, it's... yeah, that would be terrifying.
Yeah.
I've been pulled over before, and it's nothing, because what are they going to do? You give them their license, they check, you know. You tell them you're traveling in your personal conveyance, and they leave you alone, because that's the law.
Yeah, the Magna Carta. It says that you just got to travel. Exactly.
Yeah, back from when King John was president of America. I don't know if you heard that.
I'm glad his great-great-grandson Barack Obama became president.
He does look a lot like the paintings. Have you seen the paintings of King John?
No.
Big ears.
Okay.
Yeah, it's exactly the same basically.
And most of them are you get most of them are rapists. Killers.
Yikerinos!
That's ridiculous.
Why do people say Trump supporters are racist? I don't know. Maybe don't claim most people from Mexico are criminals. My God.
Yeah, well, not just criminals, but like rapists specifically?
Yes.
Like they're literally doing the Trump thing.
Illegal immigrants have a lower rate of crime than the general populace in America. Because as it turns out, I don't know if you know this, but if you're illegally in a country, you're probably going to be really, really careful to try and not commit crimes that will get you deported.
Yeah, you keep your head down because, you know, otherwise you're going to be sent back and live in poverty / at the behest of people who cut people's heads off and leave them in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good piece of advice. First of all, don't commit crimes. That's a good piece of advice. But the second piece of advice would be, if you're going to commit a crime, commit one crime at a time. It's safer.
Yeah. Well, or if you're going to commit crimes, also be gay. It's a good thing.
Gang members.
Not the most pleasant people that you want in your country.
And they kill innocent Americans.
Well, unlike Trump supporters who are lovely. Yeah.
I would rather have... it's not even just rather have... Like, you know what would be great? If I could have a genie wish or something, and they could be like, what do you wish? Okay, first of all, I would like taco trucks on my street, please. I would like a delicious street taco every day. And secondly, can we get rid of all the Trump supporters? Just move them to an island somewhere in the ocean. Just build an island, and they can all go there and do their fashy stuff. And then we'll all enjoy delicious tacos and not be racist. That'll be good.
That would be good. Yes to tacos, no to racism.
Going to be stop funding, so you know it's not going to be built anymore, and I can probably assume that it's probably going to be backtracked and torn down.
Yep.
Maybe.
And the thing is, and also illegal alien kids, and back with the parents, how they say, remember how they always said, oh, Trump put all the kids, separate them away from the border, put them in cages, the illegal aliens. Don't forget that was Obama with Biden with vice president. And most of the time, the illegal alien...
American immigration law has been fucked up for a long time, yeah.
It also became... How do I put this? I'm not trying to go to bat for Obama on this because it was messed up if it happens to one kid versus, 1,000. But there are, relative amounts of badness that happened occasionally under Obama for short periods of time, still not excusable, but it became the standard procedure under the Trump administration, and they had to expand those facilities greatly. So, yeah. Both are bad. Trump made it worse. I would like to think Biden is going to completely undo that shit, but I guess we're going to have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, they're still in cages as of yet, but I'm sure it's probably complicated. I mean, look, all I'll say is he's brought a certain amount of goodwill with the actions so far. So we'll wait and see.
I think he said while campaigning he was going to get like a task force to reunite those kids with their families. So hopefully in the meantime they stop with the cage shit and give them appropriate places to stay that aren't disgusting human rights violations. And then work on finding them their family.
Also, the use of the word alien is just kind of gross.
Sure.
I'm glad we don't do that here, by and large.
Actually, those are not even their kids.
They're kidnapping them.
Yeah, kidnapping them so they can try to use a kid to get past.
What? Oh my god.
Because, Mexican people, they just swap children so they can get into... What do you mean? Loads of them are. Just child trafficking happens, but they also have people go with their kids. What do they think Mexican people are like? What?
I don't know.
They've dehumanized them to the point where they're just immoral animals to them. It's disgusting.
The border, most time they're sexually assaulting them. If you actually look back at it, they're not even matching up to even know the person. They're just taking the kid. So you're just gonna allow that just to go through? Oh, nilla diddy, everything perfectly fine, and then 20,000 illegal aliens amnesty.
So pretty much they get it. Well, but now they're allowed on the census, so now you're gonna put more House seats in there, which are gonna be Democratic because in 2022 it's gonna switch over.
And one thing I got to say about this.
Oh no, they want to accurately depict the actual population of America.
I wish Biden would do amnesty. By the way, I don't think he's gonna. I think he should though.
Yeah, no, isn't it like you get a pathway to 8 years citizenship? Okay. I mean, I get it. I know that would be controversial to do an amnesty, but
Ronald Reagan did an amnesty thing.
Yeah, but he also shit on gay people with the AIDS thing, so he gets a pass from the right, I think.
I guess so.
I think that's how it works. It's it's a barter system where you get to do some stuff that you have to in order to. But you have to be racist or sexist or something like that.
Sure.
It hurts the blacks and low-income people the most.
The blacks.
Because
The blacks. What the oh, Jesus Christ.
This is why, and generally speaking, Gen Z is I think the most tolerant, open group of people who, in American history, just like millennials probably were before them, relatively speaking. And I think we get better socially with each generation. But boy, do people like this make me disappointed, because we're still going to have... These people are going to be alive in 60, 70 years, still being pieces of shit.
Yep.
It sucks.
All races, not even just saying the blacks too. It's every single race. Even though legal Hispanics are going to be hurt hard on this.
They're real, because they're going to go steal your jobs. They're going to go steal your housing. What do they do? They don't care. You just throw you at the side. It's all to get votes at the end of the day. Now you're going to have illegal aliens voting so much more in the elections. Guess who they're going to vote for?
You can't vote in the elections if you don't have a social security number. You can't. That's not how voting works.
Not true. I voted hundreds of times in all 50 states. So.
Thank you for your service.
It's okay. It's okay. You can tell Sidney Powell. Send my regards.
The Democrats, because
free money, free health care, free everything.
It's not free. It's using my tax dollars and the tax dollars of fellow Americans to have health care instead of using it to bomb the Middle East.
Yeah. Well, the document that was sort of was released when Britain instituted its National Health Service back in the late 40s, just after the war. It's a fantastic document, and Aaron Bevan, who's the health minister who did it, he wrote this pamphlet, and it was sent out to every home in the country, and it literally outlines the point you just made there about this is not a charity. You're not being given things for free. You're paying for this via your taxes, and you should demand service, blah, blah, blah. And it's actually really well written. And that's what needs to be drummed into people's head. It isn't free. People aren't asking for free things. They're asking for basic, a floor below which no person in the country can sink.
Yeah. I've read that document too. It was a while ago, but it was very nice.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to come in, they're not going to find a job. Then they're probably going to be allowed to file for unemployment, sit on their rump, and pretty much dig money from the government. Then for the people who are pretty much the stupid ones that are going to be working, are going to be working till they die to support people that could work but are sitting down and not doing anything.
Like the investor class? Oh wait, no, you're talking about people who immigrate.
No.
Okay.
And that's how it works. Jeff Bezos works 7 billion times more than his employees.
Oh, that
That's how
makes
it
sense.
works.
He does have like the flash powers where he can move at the speed of light, so that does make sense.
He does. And he doesn't even need to piss in bottles because he doesn't have a bladder. So
It's also why he shaves
Perfect.
his head for the aerodynamics.
yeah.
Yep. And let's get into another thing. Ending the travel ban on Muslim terrorist areas. So one thing
Yikerinos. Also,
Muslim terrorist area. Yeah, the entire nation of Libya is terrorist.
it frustrates me when they bring this up too, because even when Trump signed that, he specifically said 90 days. We need this for 90 days to like sort things out, whatever that means. And here we are 4 years later and it was still a thing. Like, come on.
Yeah, like, and not just that, but the dishonesty again of them saying it's not a Muslim ban because blah blah blah. You know, they're not all Muslims and it's not all Muslim countries or whatever, and that's not obviously not really true or honest because Trump literally came out and said, I want to stop Muslims from coming in the country.
Yeah.
Then he got into office, realized, oh, that's illegal. One of his people would have said, that's unconstitutional and will be stopped. So the next best thing, let's ban as many Muslims as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Let's choose these majority Muslim countries. They had, and again, this is where Obama's bad policy on immigration comes into effect again, because they used the same list that Obama had. And so they were able to ban potentially good people from these places from moving. And it's often academics who want to teach Americans, so they go, you know, they actually enhance the quality of America as a country, and religious minorities like Christians and atheists
Yep.
who want to escape barbarism. And you're
Yeah.
literally forcing them to have to stay there.
Sure.
the media's been saying, oh, ending the travel ban. That's all they've been putting. But they haven't been saying it was the travel bans from Muslim terrorist areas. Give me one.
Yeah, because that's a fucked up thing to say.
Yeah, they haven't been saying this thing just because it isn't true. Like,
thing.
ridiculous. Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's good.
Trump did that. Did you really hear any terrorist attacks going on in America like we were under Obama?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A month or so ago, a guy suicide bombed himself in front of the AT&T building, and then the terrorist attack on the Capitol on the 6th.
Yep.
Which were
Yep.
American citizens, by the way, both times.
Yeah.
So,
The Tree of Life synagogue shooting.
yeah. Las Vegas shooting.
Yeah, lot of white people. A lot
Yeah.
of white people doing shit.
Maybe we need
should
to start doing something about all these terrorist white people from terrorist white areas.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, I mean, obviously I'm not from America. I think all white people need to be banned from entering Britain until we can work out what is going on with these honkies. I mean, really.
I'm
need
in favor.
extreme vetting of these crackers.
No.
No. Remember
No.
all those bombings and everything under Obama from all the Muslims and everything? These terrorist organizations?
What?
No.
No, can't.
Biden first
Did I
day.
miss lots of
No.
bombings under Obama?
I'm trying to think.
There were loads in the Middle East, but that's, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a much more complicated question. Were there bombings of America?
I think there
under
were a
Obama?
couple attempts. Some people tried to get on like an airplane with different stuff, but like I'm trying to think of successful ones in the United States. What
Yeah.
was the Boston bombing? Who did that? No, that was white guys too, right? Was it?
No, well, not white. No, they were from the Southern Caucasus, so they weren't white. They were from, I believe, Russia.
Okay.
Were they? I think, but they were Muslim. They were Muslims, but
Okay. So
Che-
there was like
yeah,
the one.
yeah, Chechnya. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We're going to release it. We're going to let all these terrorists get back in. You want me to tell you one thing, too? ISIS is coming back. They're coming right back in Iran.
ISIS has already
they're
come
coming.
back. You stupid. Oh, I'm trying not to swear so much because I don't want you to get demonetized. Anyway, in Iraq, ISIS literally just did 2 car bombings that killed 50 people in the outskirts of Baghdad.
Was that the one that had the footage? I think I saw that. Was that the video? Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely disgusting. ISIS already made a comeback because Trump just went, "Oh, okay, let's just pull troops randomly from this area and send them." Didn't pull them and send them home. Okay, sent them to guard oil pipelines in Saudi Arabia. So the Turkish government came in and slaughtered the Kurds, who were the only effective buffer stopping barbarism from taking over that region. And ISIS have already made a comeback, thanks to Trump and his nonsense.
And right back, Israel is screwed.
Oh, they are.
And ISIS is going to be stronger than ever.
Yeah, well, I mean, now
Israel are fine. They've got nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
What the fuck are ISIS going to do to them?
Ambassador for Israel is not just for Israel. It's for the Golan Heights and Palestine.
Yeah.
So he has to go all with it and agree with them all. And you know how
they pronounce things interestingly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest concern with the things he's saying, but Palestine is a really... I've literally never heard it pronounced that way. Okay.
Palestine and Israel having their war right now. Pretty much claiming which land is theirs, which we know it's Israel's.
Yeah.
Oh God.
No, the Golan Heights are not Israel's. We know that. Jesus Christ! Oh, for fuck's sake! Like, it's a much bigger topic than I think we should. We're trying to have a bit of fun.
I don't touch the Israel thing. I don't want to get washed.
Yes, that's very true. But it's just, they're wrong. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Now going on, now he's going to pretty much have them all 3 on one kind of ambassador. We already know how this is going to end for Israel, and Israel is shitting bricks right now.
Yeah.
And we know how they're probably going to get back
They've
into
got nuclear weaponry. They're fine.
Yeah.
Iran deal.
Like no one. Oh, sorry.
We're already talking
yes.
about
No, I
it.
didn't say. No. Sorry to the person in your chat. I didn't say ISIS had nuclear weapons. Israel have nuclear weapons.
No.
In the next couple of days.
That's straight funding, millions and millions. We know how Obama sent over plane loads of cash,
Guns,
paper,
ammo.
That was money. I hate this talking point. That was money that was owed to the government. So they sent cash because it was more convenient than however else they were going to do it. I read an article about it at the time. I don't remember the specifics. But it was money that was owed.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. Again, the dishonesty of these people. They'll say like, "Oh, the Iran nuclear deal, giving billions to Iran." No, that was Iranian money that had been frozen in Western bank accounts. We're not giving them anything. We're allowing them access to their own money.
cash.
Now, you can argue that's right or wrong. Still, that's fine, but don't lie.
Yeah.
To someone that's screaming "Death to America" on their Capitol Hill, and we're going to fund them. We know that these people in our government now don't love this country.
Nope.
They have done something horrible.
Biden, and again, I don't necessarily like Biden, but like, he's been a public servant for decades. He was the vice president for 8 years. I'm pretty sure he likes America. Now, his version of America is different than ours because he's a wealthy guy, but like, I'm sure he likes America. Jesus Christ.
Well, this is the straw man they've set up. Unless you agree with their version of hyper-nationalism, you despise America.
Yeah. Very, very gross.
That we all know, and so much people have known, and pretty much our Republicans pretty much bent over and let it happen because they realized that, it was Antifa and Black Lives Matter who went into and stormed.
Also, they're also doing it, so they...
Oh no, they're on the conspiracy theory thing.
These guys are a smorgasbord of nonsense. They've got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Antifa that did it. Okay, but, I mean, if this is being a stolen election, then surely Antifa were doing the right thing by trying to overthrow the wrongful dismissal of Donald Trump from president. So you should be thanking Antifa for doing your job. They tie themselves in knots with nonsense, you know.
Yeah.
Can get richer while the American people get poorer. It's one thing about politics on either side. If they can get money and profit from it, they will do it. So they knew under President Trump they were not making money from other countries. You were standing for America first. So just thinking about this first day that was 2 days ago. 17 executive orders of just putting America last. We already
17
know
again.
Biden's already put in, we're getting rid of that America First thing with President Trump. Just think about that for a second. The guy is putting something away. I don't even care if you don't even like the guy, President Trump. Something that says America First. Just think about that. He's trying to get rid of something that says America First.
Okay, so if I write America First on just the worst piece of fucking legislation ever, if I say America First, we're hereby banning all guns, are they going to be okay with that because it says America First somewhere on the paper?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Our little
Well,
slogans are more important than our policies, damn it.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. Well, I had this thing I've been discussing with a friend about reforming the presidential pardon powers, because they're obviously ridiculous given that Trump abused them in such a disgusting way.
Yeah.
And they quite rightly pointed out that it would take a constitutional amendment, and that's really difficult to pass. That's why there hasn't been one for a while. But I'd say the way to get around that would be for a Democratic president, in this occasion Joe Biden, to just say, in 6 months' time, I'm going to sign a presidential pardon for all black criminals in America. I'm going to release every single black person that's in prison right now. You watch how quickly Republicans pass that amendment to the Constitution in a second.
God, that's like maniacal, just using that shit against them. That's brilliant. That's actual 4D chess.
Yeah, you should do that. That would be dope, but he won't, obviously, because that's silly.
America First is take care of your own country first, America, and then you can, when that's all settled, then you can go settle and help other countries.
We are all for helping other countries,
Yes.
but if you can't help number one, how can you go help others?
Because tell me any other country that goes and helps out everyone else and doesn't help themselves out first. We're the police of the world under the Democrats, and what does that result in? Military almost disappeared under Obama. It's going to happen again.
The military almost disappeared. It's the largest military on the planet, but it almost disappeared because reasons.
Under Obama, you were still spending more than your nearest 4 competitors combined.
Yep.
In terms of spending on the military, but it nearly disappeared. That's like standing next to the fucking Statue of Liberty and saying, "Wow, that's tiny." You know, it's just ridiculous. What are you talking about? This, maybe they have been drinking too much rum. I don't know.
Under Biden.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why the national debt went up by a couple trillions. We had to rebuild the military from freaking scratch.
No. You did a massive tax cut and didn't fund it in any way, and put another, was it 7 trillion or whatever it was, into the military, or 7 billion? Just ridiculous amounts.
Yep.
Oh, these fucking people.
Yep. And one other thing I want to say too is, you know what, the National Guard was about 50,000. It was a lot of troops in Washington D.C. Or 5,000.
50,000 every time. It's well, it's probably a racist phrase, but the what's called Chinese whispers. Is it the telephone game? I think in
we
America?
call it the telephone game.
Yeah. It is the telephone game. Oh, it was 25 million. Did you hear about the 30 million? The 35 million that were in DC? Did you hear about the 70 squillion that are in DC right now?
Yeah.
Like, it's farcical.
So everyone, Democrats, perfectly fine with, them going down, protecting the Capitol and all this other stuff. But they weren't okay when there was fire everywhere, when there was broken windows everywhere.
Fire everywhere.
Remember when everything in the country was on fire? Everything, including your house and your parents' house, your dog's house. Everything was on fire. It wasn't just a Wendy's and an AutoZone and some other small areas. It was everything, guys.
Everything, yeah. The Super Bowl was weird that year. Yeah.
It was fun, though. You got to dodge the flames.
It was.
It
was. Fireball!
Added to the challenge.
In some of the Democrat liberal big cities.
Yeah, and remember, they didn't allow any of the National Guard to come in. But let's not even get off that from the summer with the BLM, burn, loot, murder. Let's get back to the last inauguration.
How have I not heard that one before? You'd think that would be prolific.
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't know who they heard that from, but that should be more wide, because that's actually really funny. It's dumb, but it's funny.
2017 with President Trump. Antifa, don't forget, they were burning stuff. They were breaking stuff in the street, right on Washington, D.C. Nothing happened there, right? There was no outrage. Wow, look at these people destroying stuff, burning the city and everything.
Yeah, because they were mad about an issue that people actually agreed with, and they weren't trying to overthrow the government.
And also, it worked, because Derek Chauvin should have been arrested instantly for the murder of George Floyd.
Sure.
Pretty simple. But nothing was going to happen until things started getting burned. Now, of course, disavow, disavow, disavow. I'm just saying, one thing happened and another thing happened after it.
Yep.
But when this, we're going out right there and boom, boom, we're having these people, and that's it. But there's no outcry there.
What was that
You guys hate
sentence?
the police with some things.
What the fuck was that?
and
They
that's
go
it.
out,
When
they go
this-
boom, 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 and that's it. What the fuck does that mean? It's like, did someone shave a chimp and teach it to kind of talk?
We're going out right there and boom, boom, we're having these people, and that's it. But there's no outcry there.
What?
But you guys hate the police with some things, and it's just, you guys are so mind blown.
Yeah, well, just before that we get up to our wrap up, I was gonna say one last thing for the party. You pretty much know what I'm talking about. Is that is so against people having guns, and so against the border wall. Just look at this past inauguration. They had fences with barbed wires surrounding it.
Right, because of the insurrection attempt.
Yeah, they seem to miss the kind of massive terrorism thing that happened a couple of weeks before.
Right. This is what I'm talking about when I say, like, conservatives are immune from context. They look at superficial elements and compare them and act as if they're equivalent situations. Strange.
Yeah.
They had armed guards surrounding it. So the two big things that they advocate against, they're using for themselves.
And that's the
Just
thing.
think about
Yep.
that.
And one last thing. Before we
Also,
wrap
by their own, again, when you're trying to apply their own rules to themselves, the things they say, they tie themselves in knots. Because why would they ignore the context of the terrorist attack when they've claimed it was Antifa? So surely all they're doing is protecting elected representatives from Antifa, which would be a good thing.
Cognitive dissonance. It's a hell of a drug.
It is.
this up. Executive order will be coming soon. I would say probably about a month or two, attacking your Second Amendment. When that happens, we'll go a lot more depth into that video.
I doubt it, because if a president tried to unilaterally, like, remove gun rights in any way, basically, the courts would dismantle that, especially considering the makeup of the Supreme Court currently. So that would be
Yeah.
a waste of time and paper.
Indeed, yeah. And I have to say, actually, a wider point, but I'm genuinely not shocked, but surprised, and pleasantly so, by how well the American systems held up under Trump's constant bombardment.
Yeah.
Like, he was genuinely stopped by the courts a lot. The military didn't get on board with his weird coup bullshit. Like, they actually held up pretty well. It's pretty robust. It's, they've been around 250 years. They should have it down, and they did.
He got too far, but I'm glad that there were limits. Even the judges that he appointed were like, what is this trash? So that's good.
He did get too far, and that's because of money. Because I remember back when The Simpsons was a good show, I remember, but it's still one of my favourite lines. It's so good. When it's like a flashback to when Homer's a kid and he's talking to his dad, and he said, "Oh, Dad, I want to be president of the United States." And he said, "Don't be stupid. There are systems in place to keep people from you from becoming president." Which is true, because he's really stupid. But the thing is, Donald Trump had enough money to get around that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Or into what they're trying to do. They will be hitting that soon.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, they're going to start hitting. The one thing I think it's going to start really taking effect is in 2022 is when they go after more House seats and more Senate seats, because since they're going to go after the amendment,
Yep.
and they're going to try to get more than the 2/3 that you need. They're going to get more seats.
Yeah.
They're going to take more seats to just get over the 2/3 so they can start going after your amendments.
And they also can still get rid of the filibuster, even with what they have now.
Yeah.
It's all up to Joe Manchin right now.
And then
that's
right
a
there,
Democrat.
then now lead right into stacking the Supreme Court.
Yep, right there, and that's the thing. Just think about first day. That's just the executive order's first day.
But hang on, aren't the Republicans put up candidates in more than 2/3 of districts, don't they?
Yeah, but I think they're just saying they think that they'll somehow get a supermajority in the Senate, the Democrats, somehow. I don't think
okay.
that's the case. I think in 2022, Democrats are probably going to lose seats because Biden's not going to do enough. And I'm sure Republicans, especially Trump Republicans, are probably going to come out in 2022 and vindictively, like, try and, get Republicans in power. But who knows?
That's the thing. There are going to be a lot of distancing now of people from Trump because he's a loser. No one wants the stank of a loser on them, obviously.
Sure.
But he's going to have enough support within the Republican Party, even if it drops to, because it's dropped from like 90 to 70% or something, and it'll probably drop a little bit further because he becomes yesterday's news,
Yeah.
But I think he will still have enough of a controlling stake in to be a kingmaker in essence, and I think a lot of people who have distanced themselves. He's vindictive enough that he will try and unseat them, even if it means a Democrat gets in. He doesn't care. He's not a Republican. He's a Trumpian.
Sure. It'll be interesting. There are also
yeah,
rumors he wants to start his own party, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, please do, because I mean, with Trump off the scene, I've been thinking to myself, wow, I might have to actually start working for content. But if he's going to start his own political party, that's going to be amazing because the right are going to be totally split.
It would be interesting because of our first past the post system. It would effectively neuter right-wingers from getting into power, at least nationally, for quite a while. So, I don't know.
Yeah, third part. Yeah, please do a right-wing nader. That's fine. I'm down. I'm here for it, definitely.
Put in a couple more, but not as much as, just the first day. And you already put America down with all Trump's done. So pretty much this day, all the executive orders were just to get rid of what Trump has done.
All of his accomplishments are out the door.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, he was elected to do that.
Yeah.
People who voted for, like, very few people, well, not very few, but I would argue a small percentage of his overall vote was people thinking, yes, Joe Biden's amazing. It was mostly, can we get rid of this dickhead?
Yeah, I would agree. That was his mandate. And also, if all of your accomplishments in 4 years can be wiped out with the stroke of a pen in one day, how big were those accomplishments in the first place?
Yeah, exactly, because they didn't pass any laws.
Yeah.
The only thing he managed to achieve was he went with control of both chambers and obviously himself as the executive branch. He got the Republicans to agree to a massive tax cut for the rich, which is like walking through an open door. Like it's nothing. He achieved nothing.
He couldn't even repeal Obamacare, and that was like a big thing he wanted to do. So,
well, because it's the strangest thing to me. They tried to repeal Obamacare a million times, knowing Obama would just veto it, obviously.
Yep.
And now they had the opportunity, and they didn't have a plan because they'd spent all the time doing stupid repeals rather than coming up with an actual plan they wanted to implement.
Yep.
Mad.
It's stupid because honestly, and this has been discussed before, but like the plan that was the Affordable Care Act was basically taken from a plan Mitt Romney put into place in his state, which is like the marketplace, which I still think is bad. I think it was an improvement on what we had prior. I get my health care through the Affordable Care Act, but like it's still not good. That was the right-wing Republican plan, but Obama did that, so now they have nowhere to go because the right-wing plan was already the one that got put into place. So they just have to be against it because Obama did it. It's very strange.
Because the black guy did it, and therefore it's evil. And that's, again, their whole thing is, he's just being vindictive towards Trump. Motherfucker, what did Trump do when he got in? The first thing he was trying to do was just get rid of all Obama stuff completely. But again, to be fair, people voted for him, at least in part, because they wanted to get rid of Obama's policies. It's a very divided country.
Pretty much, that's what he's trying to do. Destroy America, make America last.
Destroy
talk
America.
crap about our country and how bad it is and how racist it is and white supremacy and tell us.
You literally, in this video, said you think the majority of people from Mexico are, like, sexual assailants and murderers. Yeah, you're doing the thing right now.
Yeah, America's not racist. Now listen to me ramble on about the blacks.
Other countries,
come
pretty much how bad
on.
America is.
That was the most decisive kind of
Do they mean divisive?
inauguration speech I've ever heard.
Who knows? Pandalings.
Just talking about white supremacy. Guys, don't forget, there is hate. At the end of the day, you have black supremacy, you have Mexican supremacy, you have people
Hang on. Whoa. Well, if you're not a white supremacist, why are you offended by him saying we're going to take on white supremacy?
Yep.
It's not an issue.
Nope. I've never once seen a Mexican supremacist, by the way, which wouldn't even be. I assume he means like a Latino supremacist or something. Whatever.
I don't know. Well, white people are the real oppressed minority. We know this.
There's so much more oppression too because there's so many more white people to be oppressed.
True.
The oppressed majority. I hate it. I hate it so much.
And you know what that is? Called evil.
And you have white supremacy too.
Yes.
That's evil. Every single ethnic group, every single race has a hate group in them.
They
and
do.
that's just nature.
Yes, and if you have any
Yeah,
hate,
look at the flag
hate one,
behind you,
hate
that's
all.
true, yeah.
It's just pure evil. But the problem is they just try to put white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. You have all these.
Because that's the one that's an actual threat.
Yeah. I mean, again, please do tell me the last president that was a Latino supremacist.
These other issues.
I don't know, like maybe Chester A. Arthur or something, but you know, who knows? Martin Van Buren did like the blacks.
countries.
You know, it's nonsense.
But you guys, I never heard anyone ever say black supremacy.
Oh wait,
so
what is Burnley Moomer?
Burnley Murder, black supremacist group, because they put their fist up and say black power. Let me tell you this: if a white person put their fist up and said white power, what is that?
Oh no,
again.
context again.
Yeah, I was about to say, their worst enemy context. Hove's interview once more.
Tell me. White supremacy, racist, KKK clan.
Wait, that's the Democrat.
The KKK clan? The Ku Klux Klan clan.
The KKKK. Yeah.
Party.
Yep, it's right there. But if you enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and have a blessed day.
How much did
did
they
it-
practice doing that outro simultaneously?
They should have learned to, construct other sentences too.
It's the only
That would help
time
them.
they feel in sync
We
at
are
all
the young-
during their videos. Like,
Yeah.
they feel disjointed. Like, they have no chemistry. They have no ability to work off each other or know when the other one has, like, concluded a thought. It's so weird.
Well, it's because it's not often that they have thoughts, so it's not really it's not an issue for them, I don't think.
Ugh. Okay.
Oh.
I think that's probably it for today. I'm tired.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. It's been emotional.
Yeah.